Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. Coming up, knitted Speedos. First though, a Twitch streamer's raised nearly $105,000 for an LGBTQ+ charity in memory of a transgender fan.
About a month ago, I got some bad news. I found out that one of my oldest viewers, Cannabana, passed away. She'd been watching for a long time, following, I checked, since October 2018.
They're a bit sensory overload, these Twitch streams, aren't they? Ludwig Argren there, who says his online space was one of the few places Cannabana felt free to be authentic. Money raised from a special stream to celebrate her life is going to US charity The Trevor Project.
It's an organization that sets out to help the trans youth, a very at-risk youth with a very high rate of suicide, marginalized group that I'm sure you know are under the fire of, honestly, political talking points basically every other week.
I do feel like I'm getting a migraine. If you'd like to donate, there's a link in our show notes.
Pride Daily.
Next, ahead of Transgender Day of Remembrance on Thursday, news 281 trans and gender diverse people were reported murdered worldwide in the year up to the end of September. Advocacy organisation TGEU's released its annual update, says 90% of victims were transgender women or trans feminine people, about the same number were black or brown, and a third were sex workers.
Pride Daily.
And you might remember last year we told you about the German fashion range made from the wool of homosexual rams that would otherwise be slaughtered. Well, now a showbiz designer called Michael Schmidt, whose clients include Lady Gaga and Beyoncé, has launched a collection called I Wool Survive. It's a collab with Rainbow Wool that rescues the rams and Grinder that facilitates ramming. Looks include a sailor, a sports jock in Speedos, knitted Speedos, and a puppy play outfit. No time to tell you that. The Pope's had lunch with a group of 48 trans women at the Vatican's Jubilee of the Poor. None got to sit at his table, though. And the second of this year's European Testing Weeks begins today, pushing the benefits of earlier testing for HIV, STIs, and hepatitis.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. Coming up, new queer icon, Mega Starmy. First, though, a performative transphobe's feigning outrage for clicks after a transgender man assigned female at birth used a women's bathroom. He was harassed by TikToker @American Revival Girl in the restroom of a bookstore in the US. The right-wing fangirl of murdered anti-LGBTQ+ podcaster Charlie Kirk filmed the confrontation she instigated.
Yeah.
I'm trans male.
Okay, so you're a girl, because I felt very uncomfortable. Okay, you're a male in the girl's bathroom?
I mean, I'm born female.
Just to undercut her hate, though, an ally stepped in to try and stop her filming.
No, it's not okay. There's little girls in there.
No.
Don't tell me no. I have First Amendment rights. Unbelievable.
And I tell you what, that support for a victim really stung.
What's more concerning about this video is this woman who came not to my rescue, me, the woman whose rights were violated in my own bathroom. She came to his rescue, rubbing his arm, telling me to stop and telling him it's okay. It's not okay. We need to do something about this bathroom situation.
Agreed. So what if we just ban all transphobic bedwetters from them? That should do it.
Pride Daily.
Next, nearly 64,000 cisgender women have now signed an open letter in support of transgender people and against false feminism. It's been organised by allies at the Not In Our Name and Good Law Project organisations in response to the likes of that anti-trans nonsense you heard in our top story. The letter says they're against anti-transgender rhetoric aimed predominantly at trans women that masquerades as feminism while advancing nothing but harm.
Pride Daily.
And a new queer icon's been crowned by whoever does that, the Queer Icon Crowning Committee perhaps. It's Mega Starmy from the new Pokemon Legends game. Basically, this thing is like a big purple jewel-encrusted star with two of the pointy bits acting as its long, human-esque legs. The internet's decided Mega Starmy's got major queer energy. There's now drag queens dressing up as the character, and memes aplenty, including one where it's sashaying down a red carpet. And FYI, a star's pointy bits are called diffraction spikes. You're welcome.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, a couple of gay mermaids. First though, it's exactly 3 years since the mass shooting at American LGBTQ+ venue Club Q that left 5 people dead. Happened during a drag queen's birthday celebration, with many others hurt in the attack in Colorado. A remembrance ceremony's been held to mark the anniversary. John Arcedianos from Prism Community Collective.
What occurred at Club Q didn't just affect specifically the victims' families and survivors. It kind of created a ripple effect across this community. And so we wanted to be responsive to the community's needs in honoring their journey of healing and recovery by creating a space that they are able to access that together.
Thanks to Fox 21 News. A 24-year-old man will die in prison over the killings of Daniel Aston, Kelly Loving, Ashley Poore, Derek Rump and Raymond Green Vance.
Pride Daily.
Next, the New Zealand Breakers won't be wearing a rainbow flag on their uniform next year for the Australian National Basketball League's Pride Round. They say it's a collective team decision reflecting some players' religious and cultural beliefs. I suppose bigotry is a belief. Allies have been leaving rainbow emojis and criticism under the side's social media posts.
Pride Daily.
And a popular kids' cartoon's been pulled off the air in Malaysia over a same-sex peck on the cheek. Nickelodeon's Santiago of the Seas features Rio and Martin, 2 mermaids married to each other. Broadcaster RTM suspended the show while it conducts a review. The country's censorship laws ban depictions of queer relationships. No time to tell you that. Queer, black, feminist writer Roxane Gay's presented with a top literary award later in the US. Nelson Mandela Bay Pride's been taking place in South Africa. And the Slovak Queer Film Festival's kicking off in Bratislava.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath on Transgender Day of Remembrance, so we're a bit longer today. We start with the parents of a vulnerable trans boy in America coerced into taking his own life by an online child abuse network. Jay Taylor was 13 and in the process of transitioning when he hung himself 3 years ago in a parking lot in Washington state. He was targeted on the Discord platform by an extremist group called 764, who got him to live stream his suicide on Instagram.
They took advantage of Jay's loneliness and his kindness, and then they completely preyed on his insecurities.
Jay's mum, Leslie, she and her husband Colby tell ABC News they now plan to sue Discord.
Because that was the doorway that these bad guys that we would never let into our home.
I couldn't live with myself not making this push now, making it public, because if I read a story like Jay's, after Jay's passed, we failed Jay in this endeavor.
Discord says it's working aggressively to keep bad actors off its platform. A man in Germany's recently been charged with Jay's murder and more than 120 counts of sexual abuse and violence.
Pride Daily.
Next, transgender video games legend Rebecca Heinemann has died just a month after a cancer diagnosis. The 62-year-old won the first recognised US gaming tournament in 1980. She went on to be a developer and helped set up a games studio called Interplay Entertainment. Rebecca came out as trans in 2000 and featured in the Netflix documentary High Score, saying, "Gaming allowed me to be myself, it allowed me to play as female." And you'll find a link to a GoFundMe for her funeral costs in the show notes.
Pride Daily.
Vigils are taking place around the world for Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's been marked since 1999 following the murder of Rita Hester a year earlier. She was stabbed to death in Boston in America at the age of just 34. And as we mentioned on Monday, 281 trans and gender diverse people were reported murdered globally in the year up to the end of September.
Pride Daily.
A cycling influencer's rejected the chance to be named among the top 100 female cyclists because transgender women are excluded. Claire Sharp from Bristol in the UK says if Cycling UK, who compiled the list, don't want to ride with all women, it's not the kind of ride I want to be part of. A number of others have also not backed nominations.
Pride Daily.
And it's been noted by wags on the internet, the names of some US military campaigns are giving gay energy, shall we say. We're talking Operation Southern Spear, Operation Rough Rider, and Operation Midnight Hammer. Some suggestions for alternative names, courtesy of Dan Dresner on Twitter. You've got Operation Strapping Manservant, Operation Throbbing Member, and Operation Husky Farm Boy. No time to tell you that New York City's first Asian gay bar, The Web, is being remembered at a new exhibition there. And in the UK, it's the launch of Bradford Queer Film Festival later.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, Nibbles, the lesbian beaver. First though, New Zealand's banning new prescriptions of puberty blockers for transgender young people. The government says there's a lack of high-quality evidence that demonstrates the benefits or risks. Critics say the move could affect the mental health of trans kids. New Zealand's taking a lead from Britain and the contested conclusion of its CAS review. Sue Bagshaw's a paediatrics lecturer at Otago University.
The CAS review has lots of objections to it raised by the scientific community. It's really important that politicians rely on advice from highly qualified people, and they have not relied on advice from qualified people at all in this instance.
Thanks to Stuff New Zealand, children currently on the medication can still take it. The ban's going to be in place from December the 19th.
Pride Daily.
Next to the UK, and transgender people could be banned from single-sex spaces based on how they look. Leaked guidance from the Equality and Human Rights Commission being considered by the government says staff on the likes of hospital wards and in gyms should be allowed to question individuals. And if there's what's referred to as genuine concern about the accuracy of the response, trans people could be excluded.
Pride Daily.
And we'll end the week with this, Nibbles, the lesbian beaver. I never have and I never will. Now, she's a new character in the follow-up to Disney animation Zootopia. We don't actually know her sexuality, but she's voiced by gay comedian and LGBTQ+ advocate Fortune Feimster, so the internet says lesbian beaver, and who are we to argue? Expect much gnashing of teeth by right-wing bedwetters claiming this is going to turn their children into beavers. No time to tell you that transgender model Nian Huanguien competes in this year's Miss Universe competition later. In Italy, Libera Rugby's two LGBTQ+ teams are facing each other tomorrow, with Milan hosting Rome. And you've got Rio de Janeiro's Pride Parade on Sunday. Subscribe to Pride Daily so you never miss an episode. That's your lot. I'll see you next week.